The Elder Scrolls is, simply put, my favorite series of anything of all time. Maybe even my favorite thing. I love The Elder Scrolls so much because it is simply really good. The lore is good, the graphics are good, the characters are good too, and the writing is good. Okay, well, it's good when it wants to be. So good, in fact, that just about the entire ecosystem of gamers is on the edge of their seats in anticipation of The Elder Scrolls 6. Here's a little doodle I did so you guys can see what I mean. This guy is you. Unless you're a girl, then this is you. Oh, and hey there, I'm Sir Schmib. Hello, this is me. Everyone wants The Elder Scrolls 6 because we all love these games over here. And I got to thinking earlier, what if The Elder Scrolls 6 doesn't turn out to be a boiled down simplification of an RPG? It actually has the greatest aspects of every game that came before it. That would be pretty sweet, I know. So today, as a person who is incredibly qualified and exceptionally talented at giving my opinion to the people on the internet, I'm taking a look at all of the games in the Elder Scrolls, well, most of them, remember, these ones over here, and pointing out what I think is the best thing from each of them. To begin, we'll need to rewind all the way back to 1994, which, according to Wired, was the last good year. Which kinda sucks, because that means my whole life I've lived in bad years. But since The Elder Scrolls came out that year and I grew up on social media, I can't say they're entirely wrong. Let's just go with that. Arena, the very first entry to our beloved series, is now free to play on DOSBox. I recommend the GOG.com version if you're looking to try it out. I'll be making a full review of sorts on Arena soon, so keep an eye out for that if you're interested. You may be surprised to hear that despite the negativity Arena sees online with its dated gameplay and graphics, it was actually very hard for me to narrow down precisely what its best thing is. Personally, I enjoy the dungeon crawling, the music, the progression. But in the end, what really stands out most about Arena is the length the devs went to truly immerse the player into the world space. So I guess immersion is what I'm getting at here. This is done in a variety of ways. First and foremost, Arena is obviously the foundation of Elder Scrolls lore. The races that we all know and love, the provinces with their culture and unique histories, it all started here. And from what I understand, this quality wasn't exactly the norm back in the day with video game world building. Not only was the world building itself vast and believable, but the world space, even, is huge. You've probably heard that Daggerfall is massive, but Arena isn't too far behind. Every town is bustling with people, stores, temples, taverns, and even royalty. Tamriel simply feels alive. Arguably more alive than Skyrim, even, if only lacking in flair. The cities and dungeons are believable and vast, and on top of this, every time you enter a unique building, and occasionally while crawling through dungeons, the player will be met with some tabletop RPG-style flavor text, which describes what things look, smell, or even sometimes feel like. Whether it's the scraping of claws as rats rustle in the room over, or a tingling sensation on your skin in the Mages Guild, Arena goes the extra mile to make you feel a part of its world. Even though, in reality, I'm just sitting here in a cozy robe with a cup of coffee staring at about 13 pixels that only kind of looks like a guy, I feel like I'm there, and that is a guy. These texts often read like a book, and attempt to excite all 5 of your senses, which I realized when playing, modern video games almost never do. Throughout the course of the main quest, you'll be directed to mini-dungeons, and the important ones have this, I don't even know what to call it, pre-dungeon art and text, let's go with that. It's simple, but these little screens always get me excited to start exploring, as if the location was real and unique. More so than I ever felt in Skyrim, oddly. I mean, the locations in Skyrim are actually handcrafted and unique, with much more detail than Arena dungeons have, but these little text splurges do so much to amplify the experience. Being a massive nerd, I love this kind of thing, and I hope you think it's cool enough to give Arena a try. The next game in the series, while still considered retro in its original state, is much more popular than Arena due to its current accessibility with Daggerfall Unity. The Elder Scrolls II Daggerfall is praised by many to be the best game in the series. and many more don't even touch it due to its 90s jank. Just like Arena, I only got around to playing Daggerfall semi-recently, and you should too. Check out my video on it if you've never played it. It'll probably convince you to at least give it a try. And while you're at it, why not leave a like on this video and subscribe if you're enjoying it? The support helps me out a lot. Daggerfall is praised for many things. The map is massive, the gameplay loop is addictive, and with procedural generation, the content is endless. There is one thing which stands out most though while playing Daggerfall: the class and combat build diversity. In Daggerfall, you can be anything. From a godlike custom mage class, casting fireballs at enemies as their lifeblood refills yours, and the heat of your own fire regenerates your magicka so you can cast endlessly, so you can kill more and more as an infinite fire burns into your very heart and closer to to the pre-made acrobat class, where you are good at jumping. Here's the thing though. Daggerfall was designed in such a way where both of these classes are fulfilling and fun. As an acrobat, you may not be able to fight very well and have to run from most combat encounters, but you can complete the main quest all the same using the athletic and stealthy skill set at your disposal. There are dozens of skills, attributes, and permanent advantages and disadvantages to choose from when making a new character. You can even have phobias and skill masteries which tie into roleplay. There are also dozens of weapons, armors, and spells to choose from. Endless, actually, if you consider the possibilities tied to the spellmaking system. And to develop an even more unique character, there are plenty of guilds to quest with different questing styles, including the typical mages, fighters, and thieves guild, but also knightly orders and temples dedicated to individual deities. This all, paired with procedural generation, makes the replay value of Daggerfall infinite. After a few playthroughs, you'll start to learn how the skills work and how abilities are tied to specific mechanics and questlines, which opens up even more doors. You'll be sitting there, thinking, can I beat the main quest as a useless old guy who is afraid of everything and is only really good at language skills like talking to people? Well, it would be hard, but yes, you could. I have never even heard of another game offering such vast class disparity, and the fact that Daggerfall ties it all together in a way that is actually fun is astonishing. RPGs are often marketed as sandboxes where you can be anyone, but after the last decade or so, we all know that games which actually come through with that are very few and far between. Even the ones that do come close have got nothing on Daggerfall. Now, if Daggerfall is the moody grandpa of the Elder Scrolls, then Morrowind is the dad. Your dad. I'm not sure what that makes Arena. Maybe just a source of infinite energy from beyond? Yeah, let's go with that. We all look up to Morrowind, asking youthful questions. Does Skyrim have good game design? And what would Fargoth do? Now, I very recently released a video gushing about the top 5 reasons why you should play Morrowind, so I'll try to keep this section a bit shorter than the others. If you're interested in more Morrowind stuffs, just go check that out. I think it's a pretty great video. Above all else, the best thing about Morrowind has to be its lore and world building. Morrowind is a strange land. The people eat disgusting versions of yams and rice, and they farm eggs from these weird bugs in underground tunnels, which is basically the only reason the entire province hasn't starved. Well, that and slavery. The people worship living gods and hate each other, more than Americans do, which is surprising. The political factions have unique and well-developed cultures, architecture, and ways of life. They also legally murder each other because thousands of years ago a demon convinced them that some murder prevents lots of murder, which I guess has worked out for them. The whole game takes place on an island where a volcano is spewing out a disease which melts away your individuality, slowly transforming your face into a trumpet. That's not a joke, by the way, these guys actually use these snouts to play music. The disease in question was created by a 3,500-year-old guy who really enjoys waving his arms around.
Come, Nerevar, friend or traitor, come.
And above all else, everything on the island looks weird and typically wants you dead. Now, add about 1,000 hours of reading to do of lore on top of that, and you've got Morrowind. This all comes together to create a breathtaking and strange land which begs to have its secrets uncovered. A mainstay of the Elder Scrolls is its lore, but Morrowind captured it better than all of the others. So if you enjoy learning about and looking at weird stuff, go play Morrowind. You won't regret it. The Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion had a fair share of the 2025 spotlight due to the release and success of its remaster. I personally dove back into the game with the remaster and played about 4 characters back to back. April and May were crazy months for me. I didn't get much sunlight. Oblivion is like the preteen of the Elder Scrolls. Its funny characters and glitches are the pimples and blemishes on an otherwise youthful appearance. It also marks the series' first step towards the term casual, which delivers plenty of hate unto it from older fans. The thing that Oblivion simply did the best at, though, is the guilds and questlines. It may be due to the colorful characters or the at many times silly writing, but no one can deny that questing in Oblivion is good old simple fun. This is true even to the extent that it's actually hard to choose which questline is best. The Dark Brotherhood has famous quests like Whodunit, and the gameplay is exceedingly fun when attempting to get all of the bonuses, but the hidden passages of castles encountered in the Thieves Guild still make me giddy to open up as an adult. And the final quest, the Great Heist, is probably one of the best quests of all of the Elder Scrolls games, if not the best. And nothing beats walking into the Arcane University for the first time and gaining access to spellcrafting and your own mage's staff. Guilds in Oblivion make you feel like an actual member, participating in something important and bigger than you. Importantly, something that you feel you couldn't pull off alone without your guildmates, like Skyrim feels at times. This is not to mention the side quests of Oblivion, which all have great rewards and interesting direction, bringing you to Lovecraftian-inspired villages worshipping ancient gods and different realms and even into people's dreams. If I made a list of my top 10 favorite quests in the Elder Scrolls, I'd bet more than half would be from Oblivion, which is really saying something. Finally, we move on to the poster child of the Elder Scrolls fandom, Skyrim. Wait, no, calm down, not yet.
Dragonborn!
Okay, I think that's done. We can move on. I'll just try not to say Skyrim as loud from now on, otherwise that'll probably happen again. Being the most recent and most played release in the series, Skyrim has been under the most intense microscope of all. People have picked apart every secret and shadow, every flaw and every gem. This has led to a double-sided lightsaber of opinions, where many people claim that the game sucks as they try to hide their playtime behind their backs, which is creeping into the thousands of hours, and others claim that Skyrim is the best game of all time with no flaws. I take a particularly insane approach to this dilemma by landing somewhere on the silver part of the lightsaber, saying, I love it, but it's got flaws. I know, crazy take. Here, I'll give you guys a minute to pause the video and go grab a cup of water. Feel better? I think we can all agree, well, probably not, some people hate agreeing. I think that most would agree that there is one thing Skyrim hits right on the head of the nail. The land itself. Skyrim, the province, is gorgeous and grand. The distant mountains beckon our name, and there isn't a single dungeon that doesn't call to be explored. The environment is filled to the brim with simple stories and relatable livelihoods. With the music turned up and the HUD turned off, you can get lost in its beauty. I actually made a video about this recently, if you'd like to check that out. I've played Skyrim since its release, and I grew up alongside it since I was very young at the time. I know the land like the back of my hand, but surprisingly, I never tire of it. Every road still calls to be traveled, and every urn yearns to be searched. Even if they're empty and I can clearly see on the screen that I don't have to open it, I still do. Which only sometimes makes me mad. Only sometimes. Most games I've played to completion simply cease to be curious. I'll replay them, but I'm never wondering when playing them. Wondering what's around that corner or what I should do next. But something about how immersive or simply well-designed the land of Skyrim is, well, it's perfect for me, and unique in gaming. I don't think I'll ever tire of it. Well, there you have it, my not-so-humble opinions about the Elder Scrolls. Let me know down in the comments below what your favorite thing from each game is. And when you're down there, tell someone else that you think they're wrong. Let's make it interesting down there this time, come on. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed and subscribe for more. For now, I have been Sir Schmib. I hope you all have a beautiful day. Until next time.